Hello, today is the 29th of January 2025. Welcome to this video, and as you can see, I am in Spain in my bedroom. I flew here 2 days ago and I have a few things to talk about. The main thing being what happened the night before I flew here, then also the day of flying here, and also yesterday, my first full day here. It's been quite a bit of things. I thought it was definitely worth making a video out of. It always helps me. So I don't really know where to begin. I'm like, what do I do? How do I say this? I guess I can start from the beginning. So it was Sunday, the day before I was meant to fly into Spain. And there was a big storm at the weekend in Ireland, and most of the country had no electricity and barely any water, and we were obviously affected by that as well. So we spent the whole weekend without any electricity and very limited amount of water. Like, we had to save them in big pots, and it was really like the olden days. Like, it was such an adventure. It was actually really fun. But it was like crazy. It was like really like the olden days. So my Spanish phone was the only one that worked because I have data on my Spanish phone. So thankfully we were able to reach people outside our house. We were able to charge my phone in the car, so that was very good. But yeah, it was actually really nice, and honestly, I just love adventures like that and challenges like that because it makes you think differently about life and in general, because you need to think about other things that usually would just come, automatically. You would have electricity, you would have water, it's all way easier. But yeah, my favorite moment was probably at nighttime when it was obviously completely dark in the house without any light on, and we just had small candles and we had one torch that we could use. But then when we were all lying on the couch, I grabbed a book from my room and I was like, can I just read you guys a story? So I grabbed a candle that I used as a light to read. And I'd say that was my favorite moment because it was just so like beautiful and whole and different from like anything else. It was just like a moment that I imagined as like so, yeah, beautiful. It was so relaxing and dark, and it was all cozy on the couch and just reading this lovely kids book for my family in this weird time. So yeah, it was amazing. But anyway, we did come to a few clashes, I would say, especially like me and my sisters. So they kept telling me how like I'm being stupid, or I should let them worry about their own things, because basically I was getting very annoyed that they were prioritizing their Snapchat streaks, and they were worried about losing all of that, and they were willing to pay money for it to get them back and so on. And I can understand it to a certain extent, that it's like a goal you've been trying to reach for so long, and it's like something you don't want to lose. But the thing is, they were getting so wound up about it. They were like making themselves feel so angry and sad about it. Like, I could see the way they were talking about worrying about it, and like that was the one and only thing that was on their mind. And really, like, almost no exaggeration here, like that's all they talked about. Every time I went into the room they were in, I just heard Amy and Delana talking about their Snapchat streaks again. And I just can't understand how people can prioritize something that's so absolutely not important in times like these. Like, things like that wouldn't even come into my mind. Like, and if they would, I wouldn't give them another second to like think further about it. Like, honestly, I couldn't get it. At first I was like, Leona, stay calm, it's okay, relax. But then they just kept talking about it, and I asked them to please not talk about it in front of me anymore, because I think, they're prioritizing something that's absolutely not important. And yes, again, I'm opinionated, and I share my opinion. So that isn't always the proper way to do it, but they were talking about in front of me, and I just wanted to ask them, like, guys, please stop. I don't want to hear about that anymore. And that's when they got really annoyed at me and kept telling me how basically I should be quiet and I'm being mean and not being compassionate, not understanding their side. Basically, they were constantly putting me down, and we came to a few clashes because I was then annoyed at them and they were annoyed at me and blah, blah, blah. Like the sister sort of relationship, which isn't a big deal, but basically my self-esteem, I could feel it lowering, like going down, down, down quite a lot during those couple of days. And I was able to work on the Thrive program a bit because I have my workbook. I don't need any Wi-Fi for that or any electricity. So I read through it and the power of control chapter and stuff, which is very good. And I learned how to like use my imagination to like imagine the outcome I want, and not just externally the outcome I want, but imagine how I want to feel. Like I want to feel I can handle this, I'm safe, I'm able to do it, like me, like imagining me staying calm and so on. And that's the one thing that really helped me, because I was actually feeling quite anxious about my flight to Spain. There was thoughts saying like, you didn't fly back to Spain with Dad because you're afraid of flying, like you have a fear of flights. Like it's true that a couple of years ago I did have quite a fear of flights, like it wasn't that big of a deal, but I did always get quite anxious before we flew. And it has like really gone down in the past few years. But basically I was telling myself that I was, afraid of flights, and I constantly had like scenarios, not constantly, I kept having like scenarios in my mind as well of things going wrong, and like me getting lost, or my phone dying and I'm not able to charge it, or like people being rude to me and I can't handle it, or being stuck somewhere, or like something embarrassing happening that I won't be able to handle and will be on my mind for weeks and I just can't let go of it, and so on. So I had like these sort of scenarios going through my mind, where I obviously created quite a bit of anxiety. Then when I read that chapter in the Thrive program with imagining the way you want to feel and the way you want it to turn out, it actually helped me a lot. And I used that method a couple times then before I flew, and even in the airport and so on. I kept like closing my eyes and imagining the way I wanted to go, or so that actually really calmed me down quite a bit, even though my anxiety was still not gone, and I was just quite afraid something was going to go wrong and I wouldn't be able to handle it emotionally. So yeah, that was one thing going through my mind as well. And then obviously I was like, I shouldn't be feeling this anxious anymore. Like I've gone through the Thrive program, I've learned so much. Like why am I still creating this anxiety? I should be able to handle this better. Like I have certain tips and tricks that I can use, but somehow it's just not working, or it's not gonna work, and there's no way I can kind of get rid of this anxiety. And what I've tried, like, yeah, it helped a bit, but like I don't want to feel anxious anymore. It's like I just want it to go away. I don't want to like put in all this effort to get rid of it. I just want it to be gone. So there was obviously thoughts telling me I'm not doing good enough of a job and I shouldn't be feeling this anxious. And the fact that I'm feeling anxious is gonna lead to me experiencing a situation that I won't be able to handle because I'm going to create it, and blah blah blah. So basically I was telling myself I wasn't good enough and something bad was going to happen and I wouldn't be able to handle it, like I'm not strong enough, blah blah blah. In the evening, when the electricity came back on Sunday, me and Alana called my friend Mario again here in Spain. We were talking with him like almost every evening for like a week or two already. I don't really know, but like obviously that weekend we couldn't talk to him because the electricity was gone. But that evening we did talk to him then when the electricity was back, And one thing kind of led to another there as well, which I felt my self-esteem lowering too. Basically, he told me how the one day where me and him had planned to meet up, that he actually already had other plans with other friends. He said I can join and so on, and he had just forgotten about those plans and so on. But all of that, like I created thoughts in my mind like, oh, he's choosing me over other friends, he doesn't like me as much, it's not so important for him to meet me even though I'm only here for 10 days and that's like the only weekend we can actually like meet up. And now he's not doing it, and yeah, I mean, I can join, but I don't know if he actually wants me to join, and I can join, but then again, I don't know, if I'll feel sort of odd with the friends that also can't speak English. I don't know if I'll fit in and if I'll feel comfortable enough to do it. And yeah, I could take this on as a challenge and just do it and see how it goes, and I can always go back home whenever I want to, but I don't know if I should go. And yeah, there was just these things going through my mind, and especially the thought that like, wow, it's really not important for him to see me, and he's choosing his other friends over me and stuff, which, it's, first of all, it's not fully true the way my thoughts were saying it. Second of all, yeah, he knows those friends for many, many years, whereas he knows me for not even a year. So yeah, but basically what was happening is I was telling myself once again, I'm not good enough, people aren't, like, he's never going to choose me above anyone else, never going to like me as much as he likes them, and things like this, and telling myself, wow, like, the holiday's going to be ruined now because I was actually really looking forward to seeing him, and now I can't really do that properly. And I even had this made up plan in my mind that we could spend the day together and like do, this and that, and I had various things in my mind I really wanted to do with him, stuff like that, and now all of that wasn't gonna happen. So I was just really disappointed and was like, yeah, so the main thing I wanted to do in this holiday I now can't do. The main thing I was excited about now I don't need to be excited about because it's not gonna happen. So yeah, I kind of really put everything down, even though obviously I could create a wonderful holiday for myself, and in between there was thoughts like, oh, I could do this and that, and I could just relax, and I can, I saw myself enjoying what I was doing and so on. So there was these thoughts that I created as well, but the negative ones were stronger. And then we came to talking about how I'm very opinionated and I have strong opinions. And he was saying, though, that even though I have strong opinions, I'm also a very good listener, and that I listen to other people and I listen to their side, and that my opinions aren't like fixed. So if I think someone else may be right and whatever, I try to like interpret that into my own opinion as well, or and I was like, that's really nice. I don't know if I 100% agree with that, because a lot of the time I am quite fixed in my opinion, which isn't necessarily good, but but at the same time, it's true, I am a good listener, I would say, except like if we're in arguments, if me and my sisters are in arguments, they're obviously going to be fixated on their opinion, I'm going to be fixated on mine, so obviously then my opinion will seem unshakable. But if me and Maria are having a conversation, or me and Alana are having like a normal, proper conversation, I would have my own opinion, but I would also listen to their opinion, and I can see where they're coming from. Like, I can really imagine, okay, that's how they're pulling this stuff together, that's how they're getting their opinion. And I would listen to it, I would be able to see it, but my opinion often would still not change because I would think they're not right. Or it's like, yeah, okay, I can see where they're coming from, and not that they're not right or that I'm right or they're wrong, whatever, not like that, but I can just see, okay, that's where they're coming from and that's where I'm coming from. It both makes sense, but I'm still going to stick with my opinion. That's kind of the way I do it. But if I think they're right, I'll listen to it and I'll be like, oh yeah, maybe actually, yeah, So I don't know. Anyway, my sister Alana, she was like, she basically said well, she didn't really say much, but honestly, like, I could see in her face that she was saying a lot in her mind. So she was disagreeing with what I was saying, what Mario was saying. And then after the call, I honestly felt a bit humiliated, but that was my own thoughts being like, oh, that's embarrassing, or my own thoughts shaking and doubting myself once again, being like, oh God, maybe like I am really opinionated and don't let anyone tell their opinion or say what they want, and which I don't think I'm like that. Like, I know I have strong opinions, I know that, but it's not like I don't allow others to have theirs. I just often think mine make more sense or whatever. But yeah, anyway, basically after the call, I just wanted to ask her, like why did you disagree with all of that? And she was like, yeah, I just feel like when we're arguing that you don't understand my side. I often don't feel understood by you. And I was like, yeah, of course, because we're in arguments, so each one of us is not going to understand the other one's side. We're not going to see the other ones. But from what I know of myself, I always am able to see where other people are coming from. I feel like maybe that's wrong, but I do feel like I see where they're coming from. Okay, and this might sound horrible, but I just often think that no, that's not right, like they're missing a piece, or right is the wrong word. Yeah, I just think my opinion often makes more sense. And again, in arguments and with different opinions, it's not really about being right or wrong, it's just seeing it in a different light. And I can just see my side more, or I can just see that my side makes more sense than theirs. But like, yeah, everyone's allowed to have their own opinion. It's like a touchy subject. Like, I don't want to say anything wrong, but like, I just really then doubted myself. And I was like, wait, so maybe what I thought about myself, that like I can see other people's side, or I do see where they're coming from. Maybe what I thought about myself was always wrong. Maybe I'm absolutely not able to understand other people. Maybe I don't see where they're coming from. But again, that's not true, because in the past and stuff, Mom always told me as well that when, for example, if I'm not involved in the fight, I can see both sides. A lot of the time, I'm not saying always, but a lot of the time I can see both sides. I can see where the pain of each person is coming from. And it's never that one is right and one is wrong. It's that, both of them together make sense. So I just saw in that moment the way Alana was seeing me, basically. I saw that she thought I was super opinionated. I was fixated on my opinion. I wasn't allowing anyone, or I wasn't understanding anyone else, not seeing their sides, and being like mean because I'm, trying to convince them that my opinion is right or whatever. So I was seeing myself then the way I thought Alana was seeing me. And all of this then led to me going into my room feeling really bad about myself. I was like packing the last bits that I needed for the next day into my suitcase, into my backpack, and basically I felt really like weak when doing that. I was just like, I don't want to do any of this anymore. Then I just let my body kind of fall onto the ground, and then I sat there and just started bawling. Like, I was just crying so hard. And I was basically seeing how absolutely horrible I was, that I'm a person I don't want to be, how everyone is seeing me as stupid and someone they don't want to be around, someone who's very unpleasant to be around. So I was basically telling myself that I'm not good enough and I'm such a horrible person, and it's all like I'm so bad, and at some point after a few minutes, Mom came into my room. I don't know why or how, like maybe my sisters noticed I was crying and told her, or she just noticed it herself. I don't know how she noticed, because I was in my room with the door closed, but like, she came in and she sat behind me and just patted my back and really allowed me to cry and just ask like, what happened? And at first I wasn't able to speak because I was just really crying about what a horrible person I am, and just completely seeing all the proof that I'm really bad, and like I still need to work on myself so much, and no one's gonna like me, and no one likes me, and I don't want to be the way I am, and stuff like that. At some point then I started talking. I was like, I just see all these different things that people are saying about me and how horrible I am. I just keep seeing how horrible I am, and I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be that person, and now it feels like, everything, like I wish I could like get back those exact words that I said, because I was really deep in that pain and those thoughts that felt so helpless and so powerless, and like so sure that I'm an unpleasant person to be around. And then I completely saw that, look, that might be something I want to work on, that I have such strong opinions, but I just saw all these negative bits, and this was my main focus. And then I was like, immediately, like, it makes me a bad person, instead of just being like, okay, that might be one thing that's a bit unpleasant about me. It doesn't mean that everything about me is horrible. Like, I have many good parts as well. But in that moment, I felt like I didn't have the strength to even look at that. I felt like they didn't exist. It was like, no, just all around, I'm someone I don't want to be. And I just saw all these different things that people said to me that I didn't like about myself, like, and what they didn't like about me. And I was just like, oh my God, everyone's seeing me this way, and I don't want to be like that and stuff. Yeah, but it was actually a really nice moment between me and Mom, because she was completely silent and was so like gentle, just patted my back and let me cry, and was just so compassionate and there. Then when I realized that I am letting my self-esteem be completely based off of what other people say to me and what other people think of me. And I had thoughts that went through my mind like, it's just a perspective, it doesn't mean they are right, like, but then I was like, no, but what if they are? Maybe they are right, and like, whatever. I basically realized that my self-esteem is completely based off of what other people have said to me about me, from my childhood up. And so basically, whenever someone says to me, like, it's really nice being around you, or you're such a good friend, or I love you as my sister, like I love having you as my sister, and so on, I feel good about myself, and I feel, pleased and happy and whatever. And then if people say like, Leona, you're so annoying, or why do you always get involved, or stop being so opinionated, or you are so opinionated, or you don't really listen to anyone else, or you don't understand my side, or whatever, that immediately brings down my self-esteem. It's obviously that I'm accepting those comments and those judgments, and then I'm like, yeah, true, that's really bad of me, and then I put myself down. So I continue that, absolutely. I could be a person who's like listening to all those judgments and not being bothered by it at all. But to me, it's like, how, like, doesn't that make me really egotistic? Like, yeah, you can say whatever you want about me, it's not going to shake me, I'm still the greatest person on earth. Obviously not the greatest person on earth, but like, I feel like if I would just not let any of those comments shake me, that I would be so egotistic. And even though maybe I am a mean person, or maybe I did do something wrong, but if I don't let that shake me, then how will I ever learn? How will I ever know that? I don't know. It's like, I feel like I need to be punished, or I need to beat myself up in order to become the person that I want to be, which sounds really stupid, but I don't know. Anyway, that was the realization and the learning I had in that situation. I could completely see how I'm letting other people's comments and thoughts about me influence my self-esteem. So I'm basically putting my self-esteem into their hands, allowing them to either talk good or shit about me and allowing them to then make me feel bad or good, which obviously they're not doing, but I'm letting that happen. I'm allowing their comments to affect me the way they do. And that was just really interesting for me to see, because I could see from the past couple of days how my self-esteem went lower and lower and lower every time my sisters said something about me, and then I kept thinking about it, telling myself like, yeah, you're so stupid, you shouldn't have done that, or blah, blah, you're whatever. And when I learned that though, I kind of calmed down a lot more because I felt more powerful in that moment. I had seen why my self-esteem was suddenly so low, why I thought about myself that way again, and what thoughts I had created in my own mind to make me feel so low. So in that moment, I felt more powerful again to do something about it. I was like, okay, I'm letting them choose how good I feel about myself. So I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna, not put it into their hands. Like it's really their perspective. It doesn't mean that's the ultimate truth. And then when I calmed down more, there was still some tears that streamed in between, because I was like, I was putting myself down so much that I was feeling so low about myself. I was doing that to myself. I was telling myself how horrible I am, that I made myself cry so much. I made myself feel so weak and so powerless. But yeah, then I had calmed down and Mom asked me the question then, does anyone who knows you actually think that you're a bad and horrible person? Would anyone that you know actually say that you're a bad person? And when she asked me that question, I got so much perspective back, which meaning I calmed down a lot and was like, no, I don't think a single person that I know or who has met me would actually say that I am a bad person. And even if they would, like, that's their perspective. But like, when Mom asked that question, it really opened my eyes a lot more. Yeah, she said a few other bits as well. That was the main thing that she said, which helped me. Yeah, after that I felt so much more powerful, and I was like, what do I want to do? What can I do to help myself and make myself feel a bit better? And I was like, what I really want to do right now is lie on the couch and just cuddle with Akela and watch the originals. Like, that's what I wanted to do. So that's what I did. And yeah, there was thoughts in between that came up again and were like, you're just so stupid, you're just so horrible, like you're not able to manage any of this, you're not doing a good job at all, you should be doing so much better, like why are you doing this? This is like your fault. Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a horrible day because you're not able to handle any of it and whatever. But yeah, the next day came and Mom had told me a few nice words as well about like, Leona, you're gonna manage it, you've done this many times before. Dad is on the other side waiting for you, and I'm in Ireland and we're not far away from you, and you're just gonna be in an airport, so you're not gonna be lost. There's people there and it's all gonna be fine. Yeah, the next day I felt less anxious. Like on Monday I felt less anxious than I did on Sunday about the flight, and again I used my imagination as well to create the scenario I wanted to create the feeling inside of me that I wanted to. And even though I was still anxious a bit, it wasn't like extreme anxiety, it wasn't super strong, it didn't take me over. My thoughts weren't like rushing, it was just I could I had anxiety. I could feel I was creating thoughts that were causing anxiety. But at the same time, I kept like just breathing into it, telling myself, you've got this, it's all okay, it's just the way you're seeing it right now, it doesn't mean that's the truth. And whatever happens, you're gonna handle it like you handled everything in your life. You made it through things where you thought you were gonna die or you were never gonna make it through, and you did. So you're going to be okay, and you're gonna be with Dad in Spain, and you're gonna arrive home, and so on. While I was in the airport as well, I was anxious the whole time a bit, and I felt a bit weird about myself. Like, I felt like it's a bit weird, like there's all these people I don't know, and you know, what are they gonna think, what are they thinking of me, or you know, maybe they're not thinking of me at all. But I felt a bit weird about myself. I was like constantly like moving my lips and constantly like licking my lips, or kind of moving my body a bit to not feel so awkward and stuff. So it was kind of a weird feeling. But then when I was on the plane and we were in the sky, that's when I actually felt a bit of excitement for Spain. Before that, I didn't really feel that excited. And that's the moment I did feel a bit excited. And on the plane, I honestly had a really good time. I was listening to music. I had my eyes closed most of the time, and I didn't have my face turned completely to the window so no one could see me. I actually just tilted my head back and slept like, or had my eyes closed like that, which usually I was always like embarrassed to do. Or I was like anxious that someone was going to look at me and think, you know, that's an ugly person sleeping in that chair with her double chin showing or whatever. So I was like anxious always. I used to always be anxious about just closing my eyes with my head tilted back. So I used to always move my head as far as I could towards the window so that no one could see me. But this time I just closed my eyes and I noticed I wasn't, you know, second guessing myself. I wasn't thinking badly of myself. So that just proves how nothing from the outside changed. None of the people changed. Like, it was me, my thoughts that changed about myself, that allowed me to now just sleep there without any anxiety, without any second guessing myself, telling myself I'm ugly or whatever. Not, you know, not giving a damn, just doing it. Like, girl, relax. And I also edited my book on the airplane as well, my diary. That was actually really nice. I actually really enjoyed that too. Yeah, then I went through the airport here in Spain, and when I saw Dad coming down the stairs towards me, I was actually like really looking forward to seeing him. I was like, I saw him and I like smiled, and usually there as well I would have like been like, oh no, what, no. Well, because like it can be very exhausting being around Dad, and me and him have had a very rocky past and relationship, and you know, I'm always a bit anxious being with him alone. But when I saw him, I was actually excited to see him, and we hugged, and that was actually really nice. And then being with him was nice because he actually talked about things that were also positive. I was like, wait. And he was like, you know, he was in a good mood. He was fine, and talking to him didn't feel like a burden and like this is so exhausting, because usually it was always negative, always about the same things, always making a problem out of something that you didn't need to make a problem out of. So it was always quite exhausting. But this time it was actually really easy talking to him and like being around him and stuff. Yeah, it was actually lovely. And when I was in the car as well, or even in the airplane, but in the car then when the journey was basically over and I was now with Dad and whatever, I processed everything. I was like, I made it, look, and all the anxious thoughts and anxiety, none of that came true. I made it all, I managed it all. So again, once again, proving that thoughts aren't facts, feelings aren't facts, how there's no need for them, no use for them, like whatsoever. So just processing, like, yeah, I'm really proud of myself. I did it, I made it, and now I'm here and I can have a lovely time here. And then it continues with yesterday. So, shall we get started? Basically, I woke up in a good mood. I was like, wow, I'm here in Spain. I'm excited to work on my book and edit my videos here and, have the sun, go for a walk, go meet Mario. Like, just being here, it's just a bit different. And, I came here because I was like, why not? I booked a flight here because I was like, why not? Why not just do it? This can be a challenge for me as well. Going on a flight again, being there with Dad alone, just doing it. Like, why not? That was kind of the reason why I booked this flight, just why not? So yeah, it was fine. Then I went downstairs, watched a bit of TV, ate my breakfast, and while I was watching TV, the old thought patterns came back that I had here when me and Amy lived here for the 4 months, from the end of August to Christmas. We were working at a school. The job always started at 3 p.m. until 8, and I was like really busy during those 4 months. I felt like I had no real time to myself to just relax and just totally do whatever I want to do. Yeah, there was always constantly something that we had to do or that I had to do. And I obviously was in the middle of the Thrive program there, and that took up a lot of my attention, and there was a lot of work going into it. So I was always working on that in the morning, then we ate something and went to work. So that's kind of how my days were from Monday to Wednesday, and also Thursday, because Thursday then we were working in Mario's school for a couple hours. That was kind of from Monday to Thursday. Then Fridays we planned the classes, and for some reason that took up a lot of my attention. And I don't know, at the weekends I'm like asking myself, how did I not have time to myself? But I don't know, I just never found a time where I was just like, okay, just do whatever you want. And I probably could have found that, but I just kept telling myself during that time, you still have something to do. There's something you still need to do. Like, go ahead and do it, or else you won't be able to relax properly, or else you won't have enough time to do everything. So I was like putting myself under pressure kind of, and always rushing myself, and it just felt a lot. And I never had a moment where I was just like, how am I actually doing? Like, how am I feeling? What's going on inside of me? Am I okay? How am I doing? I never really had that moment, or I never really created that moment, because I, in my own mind, told myself, like, I need to do stuff. There's so many things I need to do and so on. I don't have time to relax. All that said, basically, I was sitting on the couch like I usually did, and that's when, like, I already woke up in the mornings. I had my alarm set and everything, waking up with the thoughts like, okay, I need to do this and that, and then go on to the next thing and do it, or else, my day won't be planned well enough and I won't get everything done that I want to. So I was like under a strict kind of schedule that I put up for myself. Basically, always when I used to then watch TV, I watched it maybe for like 10 minutes and then, left the room because I was like, okay, I need to go and do something else. So then yesterday when I was sitting on the couch watching TV, I kept looking up at the time and I was like, okay, it's after 11 now, I really should be getting to work. Like, I should start working on my computer. Like, I'm not just here for holidays to relax. Like, I brought my work with me, I want to get things done. And then I kept going with those thoughts, and I was like, yeah, I don't have a proper job at the moment, so I shouldn't just be hanging around, I should be putting effort into my own projects and really getting them out into the world. And I'm not earning money at the moment, that's like not so good. Like, usually people would be earning money by now, not just, living at home and having all this free time to do what they want to do. And I was like, basically telling myself I'm not good enough once again. Like, what I'm doing is not good enough and I should be doing more. I should be trying harder. I should have achieved more. I should be earning money. Then those thoughts went on to being like, okay, if I go to work now, if I start working, I was like, what do I do? Where do I work? I was like, okay, I can go outside, but it's quite cold. But I felt like I should be outside because, it's Spain. I should enjoy the sun a bit. but the wind is really cold. And I could also be in my room and sit on the floor like I usually did when I worked on the Thrive program, but that's not very comfortable and it's quite cold in there as well. I could sit at my desk, but I don't really have a comfy chair, and again, that's quite cold. I don't really want to sit there. It's a bit boring as well. Then I could sit on the couch downstairs, but I was like, no, I don't want to be in the living room the whole day. It's dark down there, and you know, I don't want to just be sitting on the couch the whole day. And you know, it's Dad's room as well, like he might want to use it, he might want to be in there as well, so I can't just take up that room. So I was like, I don't know where to go, you know, and then I was like, Leona, you're wasting time, just start your work, just go and do it. But I was like, no, I don't know where to do it, and I don't know if I really want to do it right now. Like, I was like, I just want to relax, you know. I just arrived yesterday evening, I went to bed at like midnight, so I'm still tired. I just want to relax into this, but I'm pressurizing myself to do it. And it's not, the thing is not that I didn't want to do my work, because I like doing it. I like editing my videos, editing my book. Like, I like doing it. It's nice and I enjoy it. But what I didn't like is that I felt pressurized. I felt like I had to do it now, as if I didn't have the choice to just do it and enjoy it. But, you know, I have to do it. Yeah, and then those thoughts went on to being like, oh, great, now, you know, I'm feeling so shit and I'm doing this to myself. I'm creating this, and why is, like, I'm so stupid. Why the hell am I doing this? There's no reason to do it. So I was then also feeling hopeless about this holiday. I was like, great, like Mario can't really meet me for a long time, or not the way that I hoped, and what am I even doing here? Like, do I actually want to be here? There's not much I can do. Like, in Ireland I at least have Akela with me, the house is warmer, you know, I have my family, I have my own bedroom with all my stuff, so why am I even here? Why did I come here? Do I even want to be here? Do I even want to move here in the future? Now it's like, I don't know what to do, and like, I don't feel motivated to go for a walk, and I'm like, oh, it's not that super nice here, and I just want to go back home, and like, now I'm not even going to enjoy my work here, which I thought I could enjoy doing here. Now I'm not even going to enjoy that. I don't have a proper place to work. I was then telling myself that this whole holiday is ruined, and why did I even come here? I just want to go back. And then I knew, I was like, you know, and this was spread out throughout the whole day, and the thoughts didn't really get stronger than that. They weren't like so horrible and unbearable, but they were at this constant level throughout the whole day. Sometimes, you know, they were a bit less, and I was like, look, I can make this a nice holiday. I can wrap myself in warm blankets. I can, you know, have a tea, have a warming cushion, put on music while I'm working. I can, you know, go for a walk and enjoy it, be in the nature, you know, enjoy the cold, fresh air. I am gonna meet Mario, and that can be so wonderful, even if it's just for an hour or two. Like, it's still quality time, it's still beautiful, I can still make this a wonderful holiday, and just because I'm feeling this way now doesn't mean it's actually gonna be that way. Just because I have these thoughts in my head doesn't mean it's real. You know, I can do something about it. I can create a nicer environment for myself. I can create nicer thoughts. I had moments that were like a bit better, but then these thoughts were pretty constant, and I was like, you know, what I should be doing right now is working on the Thrive program and trying to get over these thoughts. I should be trying to solve them. I should, you know, put effort into feeling better. But I wasn't doing that. I was like, no, I just want them to be gone. I don't want to put effort in. And I was like, you know, if I put effort in, what are the chances of that actually helping? Like, maybe it won't even help, and what's the point of that? I could be doing other work instead. I was like very unmotivated to help myself, and I felt like there was no use for it. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do that. I'll do it later. Like, you know, maybe it won't even help, and I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. Like, should I go through the manual? Should I watch videos? Should I read certain stuff? Like, answer questions, write my own sheet of paper. Like, what am I supposed to do? I was like, no, I just want this to be gone. I don't want to put in all that effort. And then again, I was telling myself, like, Leona, this isn't the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be helping yourself. you went through the Thrive program, why are you still creating these sort of blips and moments of like sort of downfall moments? Like, why is it like that? Why are you not helping yourself? Why is it like this and stuff? And I was like, yeah, nothing's gonna help anyway. Then, like I said, I had those moments in between that were a bit better. Like, those thoughts didn't get like really, really strong. It's not like in the morning it started and then it went up like crazy, but it was like at a constant. And so whenever I did have like positive thoughts, whenever I created nicer thoughts or kind of broke through some of them, it helped a bit. But then when I finished editing my video, I felt like I had accomplished something. So then I was proud of myself. I was telling myself, good, you did this video, so you got some work done. If, on the other hand, I would have not gotten that video finished, I would have told myself, wow, you didn't really achieve anything today. You didn't get anywhere, and all your work, like you wanted to get somewhere, you want to publish your book soon, you want to do something with your videos, but you're prolonging that process and you're making it, take way longer and stuff. But yeah, I did finish the video, and so I was telling myself, well done, you finished the video. Then I was like, okay, what do I want to do? And I honestly felt like I wanted to go for a walk. I wanted to get some fresh air, and I imagined myself having this warm, cozy blanket over me, breathing in the fresh, cold air, listening to some music, having the time of my life, just enjoying being in nature and being confident when people talk to me or meet me, or if I come across any people, being confident, just saying hello and then moving along with my day, not being anxious about meeting anyone. So I was feeling good about going for a walk. I was telling myself, I've got this. I can have a great time. So then I did go for a walk, and it was exactly the way I imagined it. I rehearsed it in my mind, the way I wanted to feel, and that's the way I felt. It was super cozy in my warm blanket. The air was beautiful. The sky was beautiful while the sun was going down. I was listening to music, and I was smiling and lip syncing along and moving my body as if I was about to dance like crazy. Yeah, like I had the time of my life. I really enjoyed it. And that's when I was like, wow, I can turn this holiday around, I can make a great time out of this. I can just have a great time with myself. Like, it doesn't need to be bad. And look at myself now. I'm just having so much fun, and I'm just being myself, and I'm not anxious, and I just love this for myself. Yeah, so then that's when my self-esteem really got boosted, and I felt really good about myself. And I went home and I was like, do I want to do my yoga? And I was like, no, it's okay. I went for a walk, I did some physical exercise, I don't need to do my yoga, and I don't need to beat myself up for not doing it. So I was like, I just want to go for a shower. After that, I want to work on the Thrive program, then talk to mom for a bit and whatever. So I went for a shower, I enjoyed it. I then went downstairs, ate something, and then mom called me, and I told her about the day I had and all those thoughts going through my mind, and she was like, wow, like somehow that's so much. Like, and it's usually like that when you go to Spain, like the first day or whatever, there's a lot going on in you and you learn quite a lot and grow more and so on. She said that I really, I did change quite a lot and worked on myself. I learned a lot of new skills. And she was like, not just through the Thrive program, you already had that before. Like, you already knew a lot of skills and how to get yourself out of negative moments, like blips, out of moments that feel helpless and hopeless. You already learned a lot after your depression. You taught yourself, a lot of those skills, and you had that already. And the Thrive program is just interpreting that into your brain even more and kind of like really bringing it into action and making it stronger. And the Thrive program is just proof that those things really work and they're really helpful. So she was just pointing out how like I have learned so many skills already that like help me really get out of a blip again. She mentioned then that 2 nights before that how I was like crying in my room, and she was like, yeah, you really just needed that moment to like cry and let everything out and feel bad about yourself. You just needed that moment, and then, you know, you slowly built up those thoughts and gained perspective back, and you saw how, you know, everything's actually okay and my thoughts aren't that true, and, you know, it's all about perspective, and the more you gain perspective, the more, you know, you felt better. And she also pointed out how it's going a lot faster now as well, like not necessarily for every blip, but for a lot of the blips that I have, I'm able to get myself out of it faster than usual. And in my depression, I girl, it took months or whatever, but like after my depression, I learned a lot of those skills, and I was able to get myself out of every blip that I was in. Some took a lot longer than others, but now it's even faster as well. Like, for example, that moment where I was crying on the floor a couple nights ago. In the past, that would have taken a lot longer for me to be okay again. So I would have thought about it the next day again or 2 days after and been like, you know, beat myself up again about it. Or it would have taken me a lot longer to be okay again, whereas I was just crying and I was in that despair and that hole and that blip, and I was, you know, okay again very quickly. And okay doesn't mean absolutely fine, perfect and thriving. It just means, you know, I'm okay again. I've got this again. So yeah, that was just really nice of her to say and to notice as well. And it is true. And even though I feel like when I'm in blips, even though I can help myself a bit and I get, you know, I feel a bit better, it doesn't mean that I have fully gotten myself out of it yet. You know, this fully getting out of it may take longer, but definitely the helping myself part and the stepping up the ladder one step at a time, like that is really going faster than it used to. So yeah, that was really nice for her to say, and I enjoyed that phone call a lot. I boosted my self-esteem with that phone call as well. And then the last thing I'm going to mention, I think, is that when Dad and I drove back from the airport, he had also mentioned to me how he's really happy that I'm here right now. It's just nice for him to have some company, and he said that I'm very nice company to have, or I'm a very nice person to be around. He said something along those lines, and that to me was like, wow, it actually meant a lot, because I never heard him say that. I always felt like for him maybe it's not that nice to be around me, because obviously in my depression he always said I'm a stupid person, I should work on myself, I should be better and so on, I should change and whatever. So I knew he didn't like my company, he didn't like me, he didn't want to be around me. And in between, like, we still have clashes that aren't as dramatic usually as in my depression, but sometimes it still comes to clashes. So I was like, you know, maybe he still doesn't really like me as a person, or doesn't like being around me or whatever. But he said that, and that was just like, wow, okay, I didn't know that's what he thought. And that was just nice to know. And even though he did say, yeah, we do get into some clashes sometimes, and that's just because, you know, we have the same sort of control issues or whatever. And he was like, and yeah, not to make it sound bad or whatever, but it's just, you know, we have those things. And but still, he said, usually you're very nice to be around. So yeah, that was very cool. Kind of another reason why I wasn't really fully looking forward to coming here is because it's obviously often exhausting being around him, and I don't always like being around him because he can be very negative and controlling and blah blah blah. Again, much less from the past, and he changed again. And so yesterday, and when he collected me from the airport, that was all actually a really nice experience, and it was actually nice being around him because he focused a lot on the positive side of things as well, which is so new, and he was in a good mood, and I don't know, just it was just nice. It was, you know, pleasant being around him. yeah, the thing is, I'm still like, at some point I know that he's gonna be over this, his emetophobia and stuff, and then I'll be excited to be around Dad. I'll be looking forward to seeing him instead of being like, oh no, it might be so exhausting, I don't know if I want to listen to everything he has to say and so on. But instead it can be like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, you know, it's so nice and it's my family, it's my dad and so on. So I'm looking forward to that moment in the future. And it's, yeah, you know, yesterday and the day before when he collected me, I could sort of feel that way already, and it was really nice. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Take care and never give up. And until the next time, bye.